is NBC Connecticut News at 11.
Right now in NBC Connecticut, defense attorneys for Boston Marathon bombing suspect Jahar Sanaya are hoping to strike a deal and sidestep the death penalty. Plus,
investigators found hundreds of jugs filled with urine in a dilapidated Newtown home. And NBC veteran Jason Collins is the first pro basketball player to come out of the closet.
Let's take a look at Hartford this morning. Today is Tuesday, April 30th. Good morning, I'm Tosin Fakil.
And I'm Danielle Champion. Thanks for joining us. The death penalty might not be in the cards for some Boston bombing suspect, Jahar Sanaya. Defense attorneys are pushing hard to negotiate a life sentence instead. Criminal lawyer Judy Clark recently joined Sanayev's defense team. Clark has helped a number of criminals dodge the death sentence and hopes to do the same for Sanayev. Sanayev is charged with setting off the bombs that killed 3 and injured 170 at the marathon finish line. Investigators made a startling discovery at Ground Zero. A chunk of metal wedged in an alleyway has been identified as part of an airplane wing, officials say. The NYPD believes that the 5-foot-long piece of metal came from one of the planes that crashed on 9/11. A Boeing technician confirmed that the part is from one of the wings. Police say the part will be removed and examined later this week.
Last week, Newtown police found something they weren't prepared for: over 200 jugs of urine at a rundown Sandy Hook home. After responding to a report of suspicious activity, police found a broken down door and hundreds of containers filled with urine. Investigators are wondering why the jugs are there and who was behind it. The house has been condemned and boarded up. A Gallup poll released last week reports that 43% of Connecticut residents are chronically stressed. That places Connecticut in the top 10 most stressed out states in the country. According to a Hearst Connecticut Media Group blog, stress is likely in areas where people work long hours, and census data shows that residents in Darien work the most at an average of 42.9 hours per week, with Greenwich and Westport close behind.
Today marks the start of Michael Jackson's wrongful death trial. Jackson's family filed a civil suit against AEG Live. They say the concert promoter knew about Jackson's prescription drug problem and turned a blind eye, hiring Dr. Conrad Murray to give Jackson more drugs in an effort to keep him on tour. Lawyers for AEG said they did nothing wrong. They say Jackson kept his problem to himself and that there was no way they could have known. Connecticut mayors are pushing to grant driver's licenses to undocumented immigrants. Supporters say they would make the roads safer by providing training and registration to people who are currently driving without either.
And this will allow them the opportunity to have a driver's license, get to work, support their families, and become part of our community in a vibrant way.
Supporters say undocumented immigrants are on the roads anyway, and right now they are flying under the radar. They say that providing immigrants with licenses, proper registration, and auto insurance would not only increase safety and accountability, it would also help boost the economy. State representatives say they are open to the idea.
The sports world has just turned a corner. NBA player Jason Collins is the first professional athlete to come out of the closet. Collins, who just finished up a season with the Washington Wizards, says last week's Boston bombings helped inspire his decision to go public. He said the bombings served as an important reminder that life is short and he has nothing to lose. Collins is breaking barriers and paving the way for other professional athletes to follow.
Connecticut legislatures cracked down on gun control earlier this month, but gun owners say it's still unclear what's legal and what's not. Hundreds gathered at the state capitol last night to voice their concerns and ask for some answers. The law immediately banned assault rifles and magazines with more than 10 rounds. Current owners can hold on to these items, but have to register them by January 1st. At the Capitol, some gun owners checked to see if they were complying with the law. Others wanted to know that the law was being implemented fairly.
How do the state police actually get to interpret something that should have came down from the legislature actually with all the information they needed in it to make the law work?
All questions should be answered by June 1st. So far, the state police say no one has been arrested under the new law.
Could a name change be worth over $9 million? That's the question before New Canaan right now. A dating site has offered the city money to change its name. According to a news release, SugarDaddy.com has offered the town a hefty sum to change its name to Sugar Daddy. The name change will last for 10 years. During that time, New Canaan Town Hall will become Sugar Daddy Town Hall. New Canaan isn't the first city the dating site has approached. Sugar Daddy has reached out to towns in Texas and California. It doesn't seem like New Canaan will agree to the deal. In fact, First Selectman Robert Malozzi says he never got an offer. The search is still on for an Eastern Connecticut State University student who went missing last week. 20-year-old Alicia Wiley was last seen Saturday, April 20th. Her friends and family have no idea where she could be. Neither do state police. Last week, police were searching for a Nissan Altima in connection with her disappearance. They found the car Friday, but there are still no signs of Wiley. If you have any information or think you've seen her, please call state police.
6 months ago, Hurricane Sandy pummeled the Connecticut coast, destroying neighborhoods and leaving people homeless. Although many damaged areas have been restored, some residents still cannot go home. They're running out of time and money. Connecticut's Amanda Rouse has the story in East Haven.
Just like after Tropical Storm Irene, homes are being rebuilt 6 months after Sandy.
There's been a lot of work done in 6 months.
But there's been a lot of work stalled, too. Many homeowners whose houses were damaged by the storm have their hands tied waiting for federal funding.
Those dollars are very slow getting out to people. So unless you have financial resources to do it all on your own, the money's not there.
Fairfield First Selectman Mike Tetro says when the money does come, it's less than expected, and that's why many houses are getting torn down or sitting empty.
Here are people that are trying to rebuild, that 6 months after the fact are still not in their homes, haven't gotten the money, and they're now starting to realize that when they get the money, it won't be enough to rebuild their homes and get them back in.
Trisha Andriolo Bowl says her family had to cut their losses when it came to their rental property in Fairfield.
Because flood insurance only covers at the depreciated value, you got almost nothing back from the actual what it would cost to replace something. So all of our electrical, all of our plumbing, all of our heating, everything was just really pricey.
But those who live by the water say while it hasn't been a pleasant experience cleaning up after not one, but now 2 storms, it's a sacrifice they're willing to make.
This place on a high tide and a full moon and a rainstorm, we flood. Okay, but it's beautiful down here.
That's all the time we have for now.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on NBC Connecticut News.